G'day folks, well, I'm sitting in the car and I thought I'd get the old camera going and film myself. I think someone wanted to see me again on the camera, so why not? Alright, I want to talk about turbo sizings for a rear mount. Now this is just my opinion, it's not gospel, but it's what I feel after the bit of experience and years of, the 4 to 5 years of doing this. And yeah, you make, at the end of the day guys, you make your final decisions, but I hope I can just sort of shed some light on it and give you a little bit of an understanding on some choices that you make for a rear mount. It all comes down to what you really want at the end of the day, and what you're chasing. I feel what I've got is incredible for me. It works unbelievable and I'm so wrapped with it. And yeah, so I'll sort of talk about it a little bit, and I hope it you sort of debunk that myth a little bit, that this is just my opinion on what sort of rule of thumb you really need. Well, as far as I'm concerned, for a single turbo, I don't think it really matters. I really think you have to be mindful of your power level, of what you want, and be realistic with it too, and what you want to do with the car, and how hard do you drive it? Is it just a daily? Because it all sort of has that little effect on the performance at the end of the day. So you've got to understand, with me, I'm sort of, this is, I would say this was sort of heading towards that extreme side of it, where the car gets pushed fairly hard, so it does generate a lot of heat. So, whereas if I was, say, just putting around, and I have for years with this, it tends to doesn't generate a lot of heat just cruising around. And that sort of, if I was cruising, say, on a cold day, for us, living in Tassie on a cold day, around sort of 8-10 degrees Celsius, and if I was just cruising along at sort of 100 kilometers an hour, and then when to get into it, it tended to be a little bit sluggish, and I'd get that sort of that fairly harsh ramping effect. And so yes, street, I would honestly say header wrapping is a good option, but obviously for reasons, don't go header wrapping mild steel, because it destroys everything. It's quite hard on it. So stainless steel headers with header wrap, and sort of stainless steel system on the way back with header wrap, and that would work fantastic, to eliminate basically everything for the turbo not getting that heat. Drag racing, well, boost really doesn't matter. So not boost, sorry guys. Lag's not an issue, so you can build boost on the start line, and as long as you've got some good temps in the turbo, and you should be good to go. A situation like I'm doing, well, at the end of the day, yes, the header wrap was good, but I'm finding it was probably getting a little bit too hot. So going back to sort of bare pipes is going to offer me, one, saving the pipes, and two, I've got this theory, I've always had this theory that the cooler the exhaust gas to the turbo, the less back pressure you can gain up top. Now think about that, because the exhaust gas shrinks as it cools down, so it doesn't take up as much room. So by the time the exhaust gas heads to the turbo, it's cooled off enough, and you can create incredible velocity still, or incredible speed, because you're fitting more in that certain amount of space. That's my theory on it, and I'll sort of want to prove that in the next sort of 12 months or so on that theory. Now for sizings, I feel that it really doesn't matter front or rear, so for a single turbo. So whatever you feel, if anyone's sort of running one up the front and you feel you want to go similar to that, I feel go for it, mate. I can't see it being a problem, but like I said earlier, header wrapping can offer that little bit of extra spoolage down low and give you that nice transition. So there's options there. Now twins, on the other hand, I think, now this is my little theory on it all, twins can be a lot more complicated for sizings. It's not a matter of whatever goes up the front I think works out the back. I think it changes a little bit because well, 2 turbos and 1 motor basically has to heat two turbos, so you're only getting half the exhaust gas from one engine, from a V8 or whatever it is, to one of the turbos. So really I think sizing is really critical in my opinion. I don't think what works up the front necessarily works out the back. So, but a single, I feel confident enough to say yes. It's depending, like I said earlier, depends on your application and what you want to do with it. If you're just putting around on the street and you like to, want that throttle response and all the boost and everything, I think header wrap it. I think that's a great option. If I was driving this, I'd be probably putting stainless pipes on and I'd be still keeping the header wrap, and it'd be all good. But for what I do, look, really at the end of the day, heat, I don't want too much heat because it really destroys everything, and I'm trying to sort of get rid of a bit, and because it's on an extreme level, it gets pushed fairly hard for 4 to 6 laps, and it's not such a concern for me. But I hope that gives you a bit of an insight, guys, into the methodology, sort of what I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years for rear mounting a turbo. Like I said, it's not gospel. I ain't the turbo guru or the rear mount turbo guru, but I do have a little bit of an understanding, and I just hope that you guys can get a bit of an understanding on it too. So that's all it's about, sharing a bit of knowledge, and whatever makes sense to you, take on board. But if it doesn't, and you think I'm just babbling on, that's cool, mate. I don't really mind. I'm pretty easy. So I'm just throwing it out there, and I'm just a very passionate person enjoying what I do, and that's loving cars and really getting a kick out of what I'm learning, and yeah, that's what it's all about, guys. Alright, I'm going to put a vid up pretty soon again, maybe later in the week. I've got a few other little things I sort of want to talk about, so yeah, my mind's ticking over still, and I'm really enjoying this little journey on my channel, and I hope that some of you guys, sort of click with me and understand what I'm on about. So, plenty more to come, and I'll catch you later.